Hi, welcome to Sabbath School Daily, where we have been studying from this lesson right here, God's mission, my mission. This week we're studying from lesson number 11, which has the title, Mission to the Unreached, Part 2, and today is Monday's lesson, which has the title, Seeking the Multitudes. Today's lesson has two basic points to be made. The first one appears here in Matthew chapter 9, verse 35 through 38, that says this: Then Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion for them, because they were weary and scattered, like sheep having no shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, The harvest truly is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. One thing that I've noticed is that we have a really hard time recognizing the humanity of people that walk by us in hustling and bustling streets and in big cities. At least when it comes to me, I just zone out. I'm thinking of different things. I just want to get to where I'm going, that I don't even notice that there are people around me. I've noticed that it's a very human thing. We have this tendency of just not recognizing the humanity of strangers. Now, Jesus wasn't like that. The text just told us that when he saw these multitudes, he had compassion on them. He loved them. Now, what that teaches me is that I need to learn to pray to God to give me that kind of sight, where I can see people, look at them, and recognize citizens of heaven in potential, future citizens of heaven, people who Christ died for. That's precisely what I find in Jesus Christ's attitude as he dealt with people, as he loved people. Here we find people coming from all over the place, and Jesus loved them. He had this compassion on them. And that kind of segues into the second point that the lesson makes, which comes from Matthew chapter 4, verse 23 through 25. That says this: And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all kinds of sickness and all kinds of disease among the people. Then his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought to him all sick people who were afflicted with various diseases and torments, and those who were demon-possessed, epileptics, and paralytics, and he healed them. Great multitudes followed him from Galilee and from Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and beyond the Jordan. Now, here we find people coming from several different nations, people coming from truly all over. We had Greeks, there were Jews, there were people that Jesus' disciples would expect to be there, but there were also people that no one expected to be there. And yet Jesus received them, he treated them all equally. He healed them, he ministered to them, he cared for them. Now that tells me so much, because here we find truly Jesus seeking the multitudes, as is the title of our lesson. He is ministering to everyone. Now I've mentioned this before in several lessons, that God's call is an all-inclusive call. It is for everyone. No one is excluded except those that decide for themselves to exclude themselves. But for everyone else that wants to participate, that wants to partake of God's blessings, of God's promises, the door is wide open. That's what Jesus is demonstrating. We have people from Galilee, from Decapolis. We have people here coming from Judea, from Jerusalem. We have people here that are coming from beyond the Jordan, from everywhere. Now, how would we say that today? Well, there were people that were coming from the United States, from Mexico, from Brazil, from Russia, from Ukraine, from Europe, from Israel, from Palestine. There were people coming from all over, people that would typically hate each other. Those found themselves combined and together under the gaze of Jesus Christ. And friend, if that was good enough for them, if that was good enough for him, that is good enough for us now as well. What we truly have to understand that is in Jesus Christ, we are all one family. We are all one. There is nothing that divides. There is nothing that separates us. We are all sinners in need of salvation. We are all sinners in need of Jesus Christ. And that is the lesson that we learn here, that in him we are equal. Nothing divides us. The problem with racism is that racism is absolutely illogical. That's why it's so difficult for you to argue against someone who is prejudiced, someone who is racist, or who is a bigot. Because when you're arguing with someone like that, you won't get anywhere, because it is illogical. I truly believe that when we get to heaven, when we finally get to heaven, and we look back at everything that was going on here, when we decompress, when we go through the PTSD, if you will, of what we've gone through here on this planet, we will see how foolish racism and bigotry and divisions truly are, because we all come from this tiny speck of cosmic dust flying through the universe, and here on this tiny little speck of nothing, still dividing ourselves, fragmenting ourselves, seeing ourselves as us here, them there, us like this, they like this. My dear friends, we have to ask for the Lord to give us heavenly sight. for God to give us divine vision, where we will be able to look and see each other not as different ethnicities, different cultures, backgrounds, skin colors, hair types, whatever we use to divide ourselves, but as all children of God, passive of salvation, who Christ died for. That is the lesson that the Lord wants us to learn when it comes to loving each other. Don't forget to study your lesson. Look up the Bible verses that are here. They have a lot to teach, a lot to impart. Also, please remember to comment down below with any questions or any comments. I'd love to interact with you. And also remember to like, to share, and to subscribe to our videos. We release one every day. And I hope to see you again here tomorrow for another Sabbath School Daily.